My lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is Made for Love, and today I am coming to you from Miami, Florida. My brother came here. Well, we came here on Tuesday because my brother had surgery on his shoulder on Wednesday. He's doing fine, but he was in a bit of pain yesterday because, like, the pain meds, they were not cutting it. So we called his doctor and they made some adjustments. So he's knocked out at the moment. I am the nurse that's supervising recovery. My mother's gone shopping. So I'm just taking time out to bring you guys a reading. Okay? All right, so would appreciate any good energies that you can send for his healing. But his doctor expects a good recovery. Okay, so today we are doing the messy truth about your love connection. Okay, so it's a pure, unadulterated truth about your love connection, and it might get messy. So the energy underneath the deck is the firefighter, and it's a card number 20, and 20 is about judgment. Okay, seeing things exactly as they are, getting a higher perspective, not fooling yourself, not sugarcoating anything, and putting out fires where fires need to be put out. And it says here, brave and strong. So you're not sparing your own feelings anymore by living in delusion or anything like that. Whatever is happening, you are facing this thing head on. Okay, and it says here, he knows how to handle the heat. Can you? So it could be that there's heat coming, or it could be a situation where you might have to face your feelings. You might have to face a situation head on. You might have been putting off something, putting off saying something in this connection. But Spirit is reminding you, like, your back is broad, you can handle it, right? You've gotten to this point, you're still here, you're still thriving. It's time to see things as they are, right? You're choosing to do that. Okay. All right. The messy truth about who you are right now, your default mode right now, generally, who you are. The messy truth. This is Charming Fools and True Lovers Oracle deck. I just went and got us a lot of that. It says here, the social media influencer. This is who you are. And it says trendy and popular, so you might be gaining a bit of attention right now. It says lives for the likes, but struggles with love. So maybe in the past, or it could be something that you're dealing with now, you've always, and they're talking about you, right? Your person is mirroring you, but they're talking about you here. You have always sought other people's approval, and it might not be in every situation. Okay, so maybe, when it comes to business, work, career, you don't need the validation of shit of anybody. Okay, you don't need their validation. But perhaps when it comes to love, and they're saying here, it seems like if you may have struggled, or you are continually struggling. You're sure-footed everywhere else, but when it comes to love, it feels like there is some sort of external validation that you need from your partner to feel secure within yourself. And as long as we are waiting on people outside of ourselves to validate us, we're always going to be in a quandary because people are fickle, right? However, the wind blows is how they might respond to you, right? So the moment that they're not giving that validation, or the moment that they are withholding it, your self-esteem collapses. Okay, or you start to second guess yourself, right? So Spirit is saying this is who you are in this situation, and for a lot of you, this is an energy that you are transmuting. And the reason why I know that is because this is a card number 49, and 49 reads to 30, and that's about transformation. So that's why I'm saying this might be an energy that you're transmuting right now, an energy of you're sure-footed everywhere else. You don't second guess yourself anywhere else, but when it comes to your intimate relationships, it feels like there's some sort of, I'm not going to say weak spot, but vulnerability there, right? And this is something that you're working on, validating yourself so that you don't become prey to some of the predators that might be out there. So that's you generally right now. So you're working on that, working on self-esteem, building yourself up. The messy truth of who you are in this relationship. So you're popular, you're likable, but when it comes to love, you've not yet conquered love. Is that the song? You've not yet conquered love? Another one bites the dust. Okay. Who are you in this relationship? In this relationship, they're saying you are the poker player. And poker player, you know what he does? Well, one, besides taking chances. So it could be a fool's energy. He keeps his cards really close to his chest, right? Doesn't let anything show. Might even come off as aloof or uninterested, but inside, the emotions, it's really tumultuous. So it says here, calculated and risky. So it feels almost like you might be playing a little game right now. All right. He plays his cards right, but never shows his hand. So it could be that you're being very strategic in this relationship right now. And maybe one of the strategies that you are employing is not letting the other person know exactly what you're thinking or feeling. But the risk that comes with that is that you leave people open to speculate now. And then they start thinking, okay, they're not interested, or they might start thinking that you have some kind of nefarious intentions. When there is this void of communication or information, people are left to speculate. Some people speculate and they might be on the money, but other people, they go down this rabbit hole that will actually go in a direction that might fracture the relationship or put energies into the relationship that not even fucking there. You understand? So that's why, open communication is always more important than not letting your feelings be hurt or being very self-protective. But it feels like you're being very self-protected at this time. You're employing some sort of strategy, but Spirit is saying, you got to be careful with that, because then that may backfire. Okay, poker player? Okay. The messy truth about who your person is right now. Who are they right now? They are the CEO. And I'm already drawn to the moon, that kind of crescent moon in the back. And I don't know, I'm thinking about Ramadan. And there's something about this guy. Kind of looking like Mamdani, kind of a little bit. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it says. It's a card number 10 as well. Powerful and driven. Success shines. But does it warm the heart? So it feels like right now your person is focusing on like the little day-to-day task, and they are exercising control over the things, and maybe even people, that they have control over. I don't think that they have control over this relationship, because we see this person here turning their back on the moon, and the moon represents the feminine, it represents your intuition, it represents spiritual connection. So they may have stepped away energetically from this relationship and focus on what they can control, what they have control over. And what they might have control over might be money, finances, business, right? Things that you can touch, the tangible, right? Trying to get all that in order, trying to manage that. And it feels like an energy of just passing the time. It's a kind of in the meantime energy. Like you're not sure what's next. You're not sure what to do. So you just focus on what's within your control. Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, but it could also be, this person's working late into the night. So this could also be an escapism. Okay? This could also be them running away from their intuition, their feelings, and maybe even this connection. That's them generally. So it's not even just this connection that they don't want to deal with right now. Anything that is nebulous, anything that they just can't touch, anything that's dealing with emotions, feelings, anything like that, they're not dealing with that shit right now. It feels like they just don't have it. So they're going to deal with the tangible. Okay, the messy truth about who they are to you right now, how they feel. Messy truth about who they are in this connection. Messy truth about who they are in this connection. We have the lumberjack. And without reading what is being said on this card, it feels like that kind of chop wood kind of energy. There's a card in, I don't have the deck with me, and I should have, because it's a deck I always walk with. the Oracle of Wisdom by Colin Baron Reed, and there's a card called Chop Wood, and it's just about getting through the day-to-day tasks, getting out of your head, doing something physical, because maybe there's a lot to think about but you don't want to think about it right now. Okay, so this is the energy that I'm getting with this lumberjack card. They're just getting into what is very physical, the physicality of things. They might even be doing things with their hand, gardening, that kind of thing, because they just don't want to process whatever they're thinking, or whatever they're feeling at this time. It says here, masculine and outdoorsy. He'll chop wood, but may not break the ice. So if communication's iced over between you guys, or you guys might be talking, but you ain't saying much, right? Rest assured, he's not going to be the one that's going to break the ice right now. Okay? This is somebody that is actively running away from what's happening in this connection at this time. And I don't get running away permanently. Okay? What I get here is someone. I had to pause the video for a moment because my mom called. So there could be as well maybe some intervention from family members. I don't want to say interference, but intervention from family members, or they might be spending time with family right now. And again, maybe just trying to get their mind and perhaps heart off of this connection. So in your own ways, you guys are doing the same thing, which is not facing the feelings, the things that are happening in this connection head on. Now, it feels like a person. I don't think it's permanent. And the reason why I say that is because this is a card number 29. And 29 reduces to 11. And 11 is about just getting yourself back into balance. So I feel like with everything that's been happening, whether in their life or whether in the world right now, right? I think your person's feeling a little off balance, and maybe they just don't have the bandwidth to deal with anything else. So you just do things that don't require much bandwidth until you feel yourself a little bit more settled and steady. So that's what it feels like here. And you are also holding back because neither of you are feeling safe emotionally in this relationship. So let's ask Spirit. And I wasn't going to use this deck today. That's why I didn't pull out the cards. But we're going to go with the flow of this reading. And we're going to find out why neither of you feel safe in this connection. Why do neither of you feel safe in this connection? We're going to get 2 cards per person. And we have here, love's the answer. And it says here, love won't solve your problems. You need to work on being independent. So it feels like this stepping back that both of you guys are doing right now, it feels like it's intuitively guided. It doesn't feel, especially when we pull out the cards, that it's intuitive, but Spirit is saying this is intuitive. And it's intuitive for each person to independently manage and deal with what they're feeling and what's coming up for each of them for their healing. Okay, that's what it feels like. So let's see. Why aren't you feeling safe in this connection right now? Guys, you'll hear me clear my throat a lot. I'm getting over the cold. And then, okay, I'm not telling you guys that. It says here, judgment. Don't be too quick to count someone out. Be open and give them a fair chance. So this feels like what I was talking about before. When you don't have communication, your mind starts the marathon, right? The mind starts going down that rabbit hole, and sometimes you just cannot stop and bring yourself back to where you started. right? So it feels like your judgment right now might be off about why this person may have pulled back, especially energetically, from you, right? And you have kind of put up your blockers because you don't want to be hurt, right? It might be triggering past emotions, feelings from past relationships. Okay, so it feels like right now your judgment is a little off. Okay, um, and it could be a kind of, it's not anxious avoidant. Can't remember it right now. Right? Either way, Spirit saying this is not a time to rush to judgment. This is a time to gather yourself. Do like this lumberjack here, right? Do something, just recalibrate, right? Because Spirit is saying that whatever rabbit hole your mind wants to take you down on right now, okay, press the brakes. Press the brakes. You are overthinking things. And it may not just be a now thing. This could be a recurring theme in your relationships, maybe past trauma, in a significant relationship makes you kind of skittish. Let's call it skittish. Makes you kind of skittish in other relationships. And it makes me think about sorry, I'm not going to subject you to that noise. Yeah, it makes me think about a clip I saw from, I think it's a British show. I think it's Couples Therapy or something like that. I think it's on Netflix. Oh my God. Yeah, the guy decided he needed to lawnmower right out my window. Anyway, it's called Couples Therapy. The fuck? Hopefully he's finished with his mowing. Anyway, I was telling you about, I guess he's not. Okay, anyway, I was telling you about couples therapy. And they're they're showing a session with this couple. And basically the woman, she does not feel secure. Anyway, I'm going to talk. She does not feel secure in the relationship. And he was saying, well, what else do you want from me? I'm giving you my phone. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. And it feels like, he's doing everything. I mean, things that definitely would not do. He's doing everything to try to reassure her in the relationship. And then, but it's not it feels like, and I don't know the whole full story. I'm just going on the little clip that I saw. I'm using the little clip as an example, right? So in those cases there, that's not necessarily a relationship problem. That's a her problem, right? And that's a her problem that she needs to deal with. And whether she goes to a new relationship or whatever, she's always going to have that problem until she gets to the root cause, right? So Spirit is saying the same thing, right? Right now, your mind is going a mile a minute, maybe because you don't have all the information, but it could be it's triggering feelings from a past relationship. And it may not be a relationship issue. It could be you. Okay, so that's something to interrogate. Why don't you feel secure in this relationship right now? We have untrue stories. So it could be, again, false narratives that you are telling yourself in the silence, in the lack of communication. Even sometimes when there is communication, you could be telling yourself a false story. You're not listening to the person. You're not believing the person. And it's not as a result of anything that they did, even in the past. It's just echoes of an old relationship. Let me see what it says here. You tell yourself bad things, change your stories, and see the good that can happen. And that's something that everybody goes through, right? We can see the negative in everything, but we have to learn to just rein ourselves in, right? And really take an objective view of things sometimes, right? Because sometimes we think it's our intuition, sometimes we think it's our gut, but really it's anxiety and all emotions trapped in the gut. Okay, right? In the past, right? Past trauma, past pain that's right there, trapped in the intestines, right? That we can't let go of. So Spirit is saying, you really have to look at the stories you're telling yourself about relationships, even about the world, about your finances. Change the stories that you're telling yourself, especially if they're things that have not happened, right? So there's that. Now, why does your person feel secure in this connection? Do I have to say that same clip? I got the idea. I got the feeling that he definitely is hiding something. I just don't know what it is. All right, why doesn't this person feel secure? Because they don't like feeling vulnerable, right? As far as they're concerned, masculinity is not vulnerable. They're not doing it today, right? It says, you can't experience true intimacy unless you open your heart and be yourself. So this person, when they think about letting somebody else in, like truly, intimately, and your person could be with somebody else right now, but Spirit is saying they are not experiencing the fullness of this person because this person has a block against intimacy, against opening themselves up. This is how they've been programmed, and it's something that they've not been able to deconstruct just yet. Why do they feel insecure in this relationship? And it could be as well that, this relationship demands it all. In other relationships, they could have just showed up as provider, or they can show up as lover, or they can show up. You want it all, right? Right? You want to know, you want this person's soul, right? So, they just feel just ill-equipped in this relationship. And then we have here unsocial. Maybe your person's naturally a hermit. Okay, maybe they're like me. I can be very extroverted, but I can also be introverted too. It depends on the situation. So ambivert. So I don't know. They may not be feeling social right now. Let's see. You need to go out and mingle with new people so that you can meet someone. So what it feels like as well is that this person's social circle might be very tight, very small. And this social circle might hold these same beliefs that your person is trying to transmute. So Spirit is saying they need to get out there, meet other people that will show them a different way of being and a different worldview. And it reminds me of something that my mom was telling me. We were discussing yesterday. And she was talking about, oh God, my mom is such a talker. She sat next to a prison officer on the flight coming up here, and they chatted for the whole 3 hours and something that it took to come up here non-stop. I think the lady next to them was annoyed, and he was saying, no, as long as they have to go back into the same environment, you can bet your bottom dollar they are going to be right back. Recidivism is very high. But the minute they can change a geographical space, they know that there's a high chance of success. And he was given the example of a young man, and he decided to move out of, we're going to call it the ghetto, move out of the ghetto, the vulnerable place that he's usually at, where he got involved in gang activity. And he moved to this area that was kind of country, right? And he said the first night that he slept there, he didn't know that there was a place or a life experience where he would not hear gunshots, where he would not hear people quarreling, where people will not be hanging out at 1 a.m. in the morning on the block, that kind of thing. He said he could not even sleep. He just couldn't take it in. He couldn't take it in that there is such a place in the same island that he's living in where people are living a different life. And it feels like Spirit's asking your person to just go out and expand their circle, their social network, and see how other people live and what other people think. Because it feels like your person is ready for change, but the group or the circle in which they're attached to might be reinforcing limiting beliefs that they have right now. Okay? All right. So we're going to wrap up by asking for some advice from Spirit. I didn't even get to use my new tarot deck. And it's a deck that I've been waiting for so long for. It is Tarot One Moment After. The After Tarot. Didn't even get to use it. I'll use it some other time. I'll show you guys. You guys probably have it anyways. All right. What is the advice for you in this situation right now? The advice for you in this situation is to understand soulmate lessons. Okay, so Spirit is saying you may have had a lot of experiences, but right now it's time to review and integrate and to analyze and integrate the data that you have acquired. So a lot of you've gone out there, you've acquired a lot of data, because that's what we are on this earth. We are investigators, we are scientists, we're collating data. So you might have collated a lot of data, but Spirit is saying there is some sort of lesson or theme that you've missed out in your analysis. So you've captured most of the themes, you've integrated a lot of the lessons, a lot of the data, but Spirit is saying there's a theme that you missed out on, and you have to go back to the raw data, look at it again. There's a lesson that you have not integrated. It says here, soulmates come to teach us. Embrace the lessons they bring, even if they are hard to swallow. So right now, it might be hard to swallow that a lot of the things that have happened in your relationship, I mean, you may have thought that the other person is the a-hole, and perhaps they were. Spirit is saying it always takes two, and it feels like your bag was that you were telling yourself some negative stories, okay, about the relationship. All right, let's see. What's Spirit's advice for you? Integrate the lesson. So, time to review the data. There's a lesson that you're not integrating, and says here, heal emotional trauma. And it makes so much sense with what we saw, the messy truth that came out for you, right? It makes so much sense. Spirit saying there's something that you're still very emotional about, that you are reacting from, and it's sabotaging your relationships. And it may not just be your love relationships, it could be your work relationships as well. It could be your friendships, it could be even a relationship with your family, right? But there's something here that needs to be healed. It says, you survived what hurt you. Now let that pain become the seed of wisdom, strength, and spiritual growth, right? So, Spirit saying, we only truly heal when we've learned and integrated whatever went wrong. And I'm not talking about if you were a victim of crime. We're not talking about that, because that's never your fault. Okay, that's never your fault. We're just talking about the normal ins and outs of intimate relationships. Spirit saying, shitty things happen to you. There's always a lesson to learn from that you can, that's positive, that you can bring to your relationships that will strengthen them rather than sabotage them. Okay? All right, so we're looking for that wisdom right now. All right, so in the extended, we will do this. Well, we'll look at what's the messy truth with regard to the third party or karmic relationship, and then we're going to ask Spirit, what's going to be your person's next actions towards you within a month of you watching this reading. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Love from Flora. Bye.